miss us? Because we missed you. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 17 of Press Breakers, where UP Power enters the spotlight. I am one half of this program, Daily Press Sports Editor, the big dog, Mitch Vosburg, flanked on my side as usual, producer Noah Johnson. Noah, it's a Wednesday, it's gloomy, and the S word is not here yet. How are we feeling so far?
Feeling good, man. I always look forward to the middle of the week just for this. I'm excited to talk some local sports and get into some NFL stuff.
Yeah, so I'll just lead off in this segment here because, Menominee Maroons. I mentioned about Murphy's Law games, right? How everything that can go wrong will go wrong. This was a game that fit that bill perfectly. Menominee falls in the regional title game, 23-0 to North Muskegon, the team Menominee beat in the state semifinal game a year ago. Where do you want to start with this one? You could be talking about the first drive. Menominee a 4th and 1 for North Muskegon 4, can't get a first down. We can talk about how it's still a 7-0 lead. 7-0 hole going into halftime. Even though that last drive of the half, 2 key drops by veteran receivers that normally don't make those drops. Tirikov gets picked off at the buzzer, just trying to heave a Hail Mary, which those interceptions shouldn't count on stat sheets. I'll be that guy that says it right now because it's true. So, but, Menominee was still up. They realized, hey, we got to stop here on this first drive, first possession, because North Muskegon got the ball going in the third quarter. We got to stop. We got to score. We're right back in this. Well, Menominee got the stop, but Dawson Bardowski, one of the best returners in the UP, uncharacteristically muffs the return. North Muskegon recovers it, takes a field goal, but they lead 10-0. First play of the ensuing drive, Clayton Miller fumbles. North Muskegon goes down and scores 16-0 at that point. It was just a gut-wrenching way for a team like this that was so dead set and focused on getting revenge, trying to get back to Ford Field. Any loss stings, but I think a loss in this manner just stings 8 times worse, because if Menominee plays clean football, if they play the way I know they can, they win that game. And that's not me knocking North Muskegon by any stretch of the imagination. They took advantage of Menominee's miscues and burned them. North Muskegon's probably, I have to guess, they're going to beat Millington and get in that state title game against Monroe St. Mary Catholic. But just Menominee beat Menominee, and it's always gut-wrenching when the season ends like that.
Yeah, I was surprised when I read your subsequent article about it. I was not expecting a 23-0 outcome. I was very, very surprised.
Yeah, I think a lot of us were, but then also Iron Mountain lost to Beale City 14-7, so 11 players, last 2 standing in the UP, are now done. But a player on Saturday, man, up at the Superior Dome, Pickford's got a chance at a D1 title, and Crystal Falls Forest Park has a crack at the Division II title. So, if you're a big fan of A-player football in the UP, get your little tookus up to Marquette this weekend. It's going to be a good time.
Well, big dog, that is it for Menominee. Congratulations to North Muskegon for the win.
Muskegon.
These
Michigan names are tricky. I don't fault you one bit.
They are, and I tried to sneak that one in there like I knew what I was talking about. But, no, congrats to both teams, and we'll see what happens next week, or this week, rather. But we're going to get into Big Dog's Big 5 bets, but we would be remiss if we didn't thank our sponsor.
Yes, big shout-out to the wonderful, kind, friendly folks at Pioneer TV and Appliance. Folks, everything you need to create the ultimate game day experience, whether it's TVs, appliances, surround sound systems, stoves, anything, you name it. Pioneer TV Appliance is the place to go. Don't trust any regular Jane Doe or John Schmo. Don't trust any so-called expert. Trust your neighborhood expert at Pioneer TV and Appliance, located at 1116 Layton Street in beautiful, scenic downtown Escanaba.
And thank you for Pioneer for sponsoring this episode and so many episodes.
Yes. By the way, you bought your microwave at Pioneer. How's that holding for you?
No complaints so far. So that's what you want out of your microwave. And that's what you're going to get at Pioneer. No complaints, helpful service, quality products.
There you go. From the man himself.
And all right, big dog, it is that time. it is time for your Big 5 bets.
All right. So last week, 4-1 money line, 3-2 against the spread. Not a bad week. Not only that, we talked if Detroit scored 50 in Jacksonville, Noah's getting burgers off me, and
Hey.
I'm buying him lunch on Thursday. Cool. So let's get to this week's slate, shall we? Yeah. So game 1 here. I talked about how the Packers own the Bears, which technically they still do.
They do.
But they're one of the teams that didn't cover. Just be flat and simple. Chicago's back to simplifying their offense. They're staying at home against Minnesota. 3.5-point home dogs in the divisional game. I'm taking the points with Chicago here just because I feel this offense is going to start flowing a little better now. Yeah, Minnesota's going to be tough on them. They're going to be a bear to deal with. I still see Minnesota wins, but Chicago covers. Give me the Vikings here 24-21.
Wow, that's man, what a rough game for the Bears last week. You almost had it. I mean, you could just Google all these Bears fans watching the last play, and it's if you don't like the Bears, it's fun to watch. If you like the Bears, it's not great to watch.
Yeah, so I actually caught this on Twitter, I believe. As some fan, he was like in the corner where Chicago was driving at the end of the game. He's like, yeah, we got this. We're finally beating Green Bay. Yeah, we got it. We got it. Kick us up, and it's like... Nah, he went from super happiness to just ultimate depression. Bears gonna Bears.
Seen a lot. It seems like maybe we've seen a few of those this year where it comes down to a field goal and it gets blocked. Like last week with Denver and Kansas City. But I will say I think that Minnesota wins this one as well. But I think Chicago is still not going to show up the way they need to. Give me Minnesota 24-10.
All right, game 2 here. We get a Harbaugh versus Harbaugh matchup. Holy smokes, right?
The last time was the Super Bowl, wasn't it?
Yeah, that memory's... It's not well lit in my mind how that game went.
I know it was a shootout.
Pun intended entirely, by the way, because the lights went out in the Superdome. Not the Silverdome as Hulk Hogan said at WrestleMania 30. Anyway, the Chargers are 3-point dogs against the Ravens team. The secondary, the back end is still rough, and are the most penalized team in the NFL. I like the Chargers here to cover and win, especially with Justin Herbert, the way he played that first half against the Bengals. Woo! Big points for my fantasy football team. Sorry to the kid that saw my buzzsaw this week with Chris Boswell being my second leading scorer. What up? Give me the Chargers here, 27-20.
Yeah, I like the Chargers in this one too. I tend to go opposite of you, but Baltimore. Like I think maybe their confidence might be a little shook after that game against Pittsburgh. Give me the Chargers here, 27-20.
All right, we got the same score. Let's do it. All right. So, game 3 here. The Detroit Lions own this division, apparently, the AFC South.
Yeah, it's not even close.
At least at home. The road's a little different. Now we got a Colts team here coming off a win over the Jets where Anthony Richardson didn't tap out. He got the game-winning tud. This is an Indy team that is confident they can try and sneak up and win the division. At home, they're 7.5-point dogs. I like the Colts to cover here. Now, as great as this Detroit defense has looked, they still struggle against mobile quarterbacks. They really do. Baker Mayfield, when he can extend plays, that's the one loss they have. Now this defense has to do it without Alex Anzalone. He's going to miss for probably about 2 months with a broken forearm, who's their best linebacker. So now I got to ask guys like Jack Campbell, Malcolm Rodriguez, and maybe Derek Barnes is healthy. I'm not sure. To try and keep up with Anthony Richardson. Lions win 31-27. So Colts cover, but Lions still find a way to win like they always do.
Yeah, I got Lions here too. They're just too damn good. They are a little banged up, and like you said, they do have a little bit of trouble with more mobile quarterbacks. So again, I think it's going to be certainly closer than 52-6 Jacksonville. But give me the Lions here, 32-28.
All right, I like that. All right, game 4. I'm just going to shoot straight here. The Houston Texans do not impress me one bit. I get it, they're really banged up, but I just feel like they're just missing a piece or two in offense and a piece or two on defense. I can't pinpoint exactly what it is. But now they're 8-point home favorites against the Titans. If you look at Houston this year, division teams hanging pretty close with them. Houston's still going to win this game, but Houston's for me before trying to pick with them with a big spread, so I can't do it again. I like the Titans to cover. Houston wins 27-21, but Titans cover the 8-point spread.
Yeah, I am. Man, so the Titans are 2-8, correct?
Yes.
Okay. That is not what I expected at all.
I didn't either. I've been well documented before the preseason that Will Levis was going to be the guy, and well, not quite.
Yeah, it's been tough to watch. I'm going to disagree with Big Dog here. I think the Titans pull off an upset.
Ooh.
I think they go out. I think Levis has a quality game, not great or anything, but a quality game. Minimal turnovers, no interceptions. Give me the Titans here on a close one, 28-27.
And then finally, my last game of the week, Sunday Night Football. You know, a couple years ago, I was like 11. I was like 13-3 against the spread in Sunday Night Football games, or 13-4, 14-3, something stupid. This year hasn't been the greatest bit of luck, as some of my friends would tell you, but I feel confident about this week, about the Philadelphia Eagles tripping out west to play the LA Rams. The Eagles have had some long rests with the Thursday Night Football game. Again, that's a factor in here. And I love what LA is going to do with this young defense, these younger players. But this veteran offensive line, especially with Jordan Mailata probably coming back this week, I feel like they're going to win that battle line of scrimmage. I honestly do. Both sides of the ball, they're going to do it. So, just for that reason alone, I think Stafford's kind of a bit of a slump right now. We're probably not going to fire all cylinders against this kind of defense. I think Philadelphia to win here, 28-17. The extra days of rest help, especially the Rams after coming back from a real game in New England.
Yeah, again, I like the Eagles here too. Like you said, Stafford's in a little bit of a funk. But yeah, I think those, like you mentioned, those rest days and everything, and Philadelphia is just a really, really good team this year. So give me the Eagles taking care of business, 28-17.
All right, that was the big five bets this week. Let's chat about a couple games that did go down last week. I'll ask you for your opinions first. Noah, what's your biggest takeaway with the Ravens and Steelers?
Well, the Steelers did to the Ravens what they did to my Falcons. They beat them without scoring a touchdown. I think every time you watch a Steelers and Ravens matchup, it's like a defensive masterclass. And that's more of what we saw. But you said before the program that the Steelers own Lamar Jackson, and I'm starting to believe you.
I used different verbiage, but thank you for cleaning it up. But also, like I said last week, I mean, historically, these games are 2019 finishes. The underdog, more times than not, will win the game. And that's what happened. Yes, Chris Boswell has my MVP vote this year. Even though I don't get one, he would get my vote, personally, because he's done so much for the team. But I don't know what it is, but whenever Lamar Jackson plays Pittsburgh, he seems to shrink. It's weird. He was under 50% passing. I just feel like when they go up against Pittsburgh or they play against a really good team that can be even above their weight, they kind of get away from the run-first identity. And I don't think it helped that Derrick Henry fumbled on his first carry. The first time in 520-something carries, he's fumbled. And even though they did score their own touchdown, but Pittsburgh has just got that weird ability that they have his number. I can't remember who said it, but it made sense. These division games are weird because there's so much familiarity. That's why you see Lamar dominate the NFC. But when he plays against Cincinnati or Pittsburgh, he's mortal. So that's my biggest kind of takeaway. And also with Pittsburgh, I think we talked about it last week. I don't think they're a Super Bowl. I don't think they're not going to win the AFC. But they're going to make that path to try and get out of the AFC really fascinating. Because I don't want anybody who actually wants to willingly play that defense. And they're starting to figure things out on offense or run the ball. Obviously, I'd like to see them do better in the red zone and maybe convert more than 2 third downs in the game. That'd be nice. But no, Pittsburgh's going to be a player in the AFC, not going to be the last team standing. And Baltimore is just going to clean up their penalties big time.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know how deep Pittsburgh goes into the playoffs, but there's no team in the NFC that's going to want to see them on their schedule for the playoffs. Absolutely not.
If they could somehow magically avoid both Buffalo and Kansas City until the AFC title game, they'll get the AFC title game.
I'd agree with that.
If somehow they get kicked to the other side of the bracket, like, it's asking for a lot, but it's possible. I did have Green Bay and Chicago listed as a game we need to discuss, but we already know the Packers on the Bears. There's a block kick, blah, blah, blah. Next game. Cincinnati and LA Chargers. Like I said the Chargers were going to have a big second half. They had a big last drive, but Justin Herbert, that first half, it made you wonder, like, where the hell has this been the last 3 years, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I only caught glimpses of that game, but from what I did see, I mean, I would have to go back and look at more footage, but it might be the best I've seen Herbert all year.
And I'm going to make one really bold hot take here, but deep down I know I'm right. The Cincinnati Bengals screwed up taking Jamar Chase over Penei Sewell. I'm being dead honest right now.
Really?
The chemistry, they mentioned on the broadcast on Sunday, and I thought it was really interesting, how tight T. Higgins and Joe Burrow are. How it's a brotherhood between the two. And when you look back at that 2022 class, that's who I was in. First 3 picks are basically set. Then you get Atlanta, Cincinnati, Miami at 4, 5, 6, Detroit at 7. Going to that draft class, everybody, their grandma's dog, and the goldfish knew the best non-quarterback in the class was Penei Sewell. There wasn't that big of a gap. Actually, there was a big gap. Bengals fans at the end of that year had signs that said Penei for your thoughts. And let me ask you, who do you feel is the better offense? The Atlanta Falcons, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Miami Dolphins, or the Detroit Lions? And why do you say the Detroit Lions?
Well, I mean, yeah, definitely the Detroit Lions. I mean, it comes down to the way they've drafted and their offense, and plus the pieces that they've gotten through the draft, like Aiden Hutchinson, even though he's hurt, through the draft.
Do you know what's better, in my personal opinion, than drafting a premier edge rusher? Drafting a guy that can block him. Do you think Penei Sewell could handle maybe a Myles Garrett or a T.J. Watt? Or maybe whoever the flipping monkey donkey thingy that Baltimore will throw at you?
I think so. I think you definitely put up a fight.
Do you think maybe that dude could hang out if they put Aaron down on the edge, he could contain him? Or maybe he could handle better against Kansas City's defense than opposed to any tackle the Bengals have acquired since they got Joe Burrow?
I'd agree.
Look, football is still a game that's dominated in the trenches and line of scrimmage. And we saw in that Super Bowl, too, like, yeah, Cincinnati got there, but they weren't blocking anybody on the Rams' front. More times than not, Burrow's hung up to dry. The best thing you can do for any quarterback in the NFL is to protect him and keep him upright. Penei Sewell was the one guy in that class that everybody knew that there's one guy you put money on to wear the gold jacket. One guy that you can bet on to get to Canton. It was Penei Sewell, and it was not only that caliber player, but it was in the position of need. Yes, Jamar Chase is a really good receiver. I don't think he's the ultimate game changer like a C.D. Lamb or a Justin Jefferson. I think he's a tier below that. I think he's like 5 or 6. If you talk about best receivers in the league today, it's frustrating because you saw how many times Burrow did go down in that game. I just feel like Cincinnati really did drop the ball there. And honestly, so did the Falcons and so did the Dolphins because there are teams right now that, man, wouldn't it be nice to have that kind of caliber of offensive lineman?
Oh, yeah.
Why do you think Brad Holmes was screaming bloody murder and joy when Penei Sewell fell them at 7? Because they knew exactly. Yeah, it's a hot take, but honestly, I stand by it. Bengals screwed up taking Jamar Chase over Penei Sewell.
You heard it here first, folks.
I got some Bengals fans that are going to tell me how stupid I am, but there's going to be typos in those texts. I get them anyway. Anyway. All right, so I'm going to bring a little segment here. We talk about football, I'm a Michigan guy from like 6 hours away from here, so I Falcons talk Lions and Packers and sometimes Bears. Oh my! But my friend here, producer Noah, is a good old Southern boy.
That's right.
And he's a big Falcons fan. So, yeah, your Falcons didn't do so hot. I'll give you the floor to talk about how you feel the Falcons are doing this year.
Well, the good news is that we play in a very bad division. This year at least. And actually years past. But that was I wouldn't say that was a blowout game, but it was certainly embarrassing. You go into Denver and Bo Nix was taken after Jaden Daniels, after Caleb Williams, before Drake May, I believe.
No, it went Williams, Daniels, May, then McCarthy.
And then Penix.
Yeah, Penix was before that too, yeah.
Yeah, so okay. So that means he's the, let's just say, 6th quarterback taken in the recent draft. And he whooped you. And he honestly is, you could make an argument for Jaden Daniels, but he's probably the best rookie quarterback in the league right now. Just in my opinion.
I'm shaking my head, yes.
Okay. So, I think it comes down to, number one, the Falcons were outplayed. And number two, they were just outcoached. Sean Payton spent a lot of time in the NFC South when he was with the Saints. And I know a lot has changed over the years, but there's certain things you don't forget and a certain fire in your belly when you're playing your old rival. And I think that's what helped. Coach Raheem said after the game, we're going to bounce back from this. This does not define us. Well, it better not. It was just a bad game all around. I'm not, woe is me as some Falcon fans on Facebook are doing and saying that this is who we are all season. I think it was a mulligan. I think it was a really, really bad game. But they're gonna win the NFC South. They're gonna make it in the playoffs. How deep do they get? No clue. But they're all right. They're gonna be fine.
So ponder me this, producer Noah. Let's say we get the offseason. The Falcons go, let's just say they win the division 98 or 10-7. They win a wild card round, but they get bounced in the second round. You can make one move in the offseason, your choice. What move do the Falcons make? Because I got one in mind. I don't think we're going to be in the same wavelength, but it's going to be fun.
I want an edge rusher.
And which edge rusher would you want?
Ooh. In a perfect world, I mean, maybe, the one they were supposed to take, honestly, Joe Alt.
Joe Alt's a right tackle for the...
excuse me. No. Who am I thinking of? Minnesota.
Oh, Dallas Turner.
Yes, Dallas Turner. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I would be over the moon if we could get Dallas Turner.
So I'm on the same... So if I can make one magical move on the Falcons, I'm calling Jacksonville. What do you want for Josh Hines-Allen? Because here's the thing with the Jaguars. Yes, Josh Hines-Allen's a really good ball player. But with him, this year, you're staring down maybe your third first overall pick in the last 5 years. Whatever you're doing around him to help him out, ain't working. It ain't working. I don't know what the draft capital would be in that scenario, but I feel like if Judon stays one more year, and you get Josh Hines-Allen for 3 years to go opposite of him for maybe the next 5 for Atlanta, Judon maybe has one more quality year left in the tank. But if you can nickel and dime packages with him on one side and get another kid on the other to rotate with Judon around, with the secondary they have and their linebackers are young, but they're also underrated at the same time, and you still got Grady Jarrett in the middle.
That's scary. That's
how the defense gets better, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. It's a swing like Josh Hines-Allen. That's what I would do if I was the Falcons. I was thinking about this last night. If there's one team that needs him, I think, the most, it's Atlanta.
I'd agree with you. I'd love to see it. I think our defense is continuing to get better, especially our secondary. But yeah, defense. We always need more of it.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to your big 3 questions, my guy. What do you got this week?
So one of them is a 2-parter. So there's just 2 questions today, but one of them is a 2-parter.
Okay.
So let's first talk. You want baseball or football first?
Give me baseball. Let's change the pace a little bit.
All right. So tonight, the MLB will announce the winners of the NL and AL Cy Young.
So it's Chris Sale and Tariq Skubal.
Well, that was going to be my question to you.
I'm sorry.
Is your predictions. Okay, well, let me read you some stats real quick, and then if you want to stick with those. So for the NL, you've got Chris Sale, Paul Skeens, and Zach Wheeler. ERA, Chris Sale's got a 2.38, 225 Ks, 177 innings pitched. Wins don't really matter anymore, but 18 wins. Skeens, you got 1.96 ERA, 170 Ks, 133 innings pitched. And Zach Wheeler, 2.7 ERA, 224 Ks, and 200 innings pitched.
I'm still not budging Skeens. Skeens didn't have a full year, although he definitely earned Rookie of the Year by a mile. Chris Sale's a Triple Crown winner. You can't argue that. I mean, the dude bounced back. I still can't believe Boston dealt him, but it's Chris Sale, and it's for a reason. He helped me win a fantasy baseball title. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you, even though I think it may not be a huge deal, but Wheeler did pitch roughly 23 more innings than Sale. A little bit slightly higher in ERA. Paul Skeens.
So we had, 3 more starts, essentially?
Basically.
And who had more strikeouts?
Sale by 1.
Hey, when's a win?
1's a 1.
He had 23 extra innings to get more strikeouts and didn't.
So you heard it here. We are both going with Mr. Chris Sale.
Yeah.
In the AL, you have got Tariq Skubal.
Just save your case. It's Skubal. I don't want to hear anybody else's name. If anybody else even sniffs a vote, I am punching someone in the kidney square out. Triple Crown winner. He is the absolute reason why Detroit even made a push for the postseason. He's the reason why they were even a contender in the postseason. A Triple Crown winner, a lefty. I don't care who else is even an opportunity. If it's not Tariq Skubal, the Baseball Writers Association of America, every single one of them in that vote for that need to get the hell out.
Well, I won't read the rest to you, but
I'm really, really sorry I popped to your your balloon here, but I feel it was kind of obvious this year.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on Skubal. I just wanted to point out, the other two nominees were Seth Lugo, who had an outstanding year for Kansas City. And then this one, I just kind of wanted your opinion on it. Emmanuel Clase is a candidate. He did have, the man had 47 saves, a sub-1 ERA, and 66 Ks. But is that really fair to put a reliever against starting pitchers for the Cy Young?
It depends on the season. What was his ERA again?
0.61.
Yeah, it's fair to at least have him in contention.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll get some second place votes.
Although honestly, he was more in the postseason. Kerry Carpenter owns you. Next question.
Yeah, the Tigers and the Yanks really, really tore him apart. All right, so there you go. Press breakers, Chris Sale, Tariq Skubal should be a no-brainer. The only one that may be a little closer is that maybe Zach Wheeler gets some more love than we're expecting. All right, next question, or final question. I've got 6 players in the NFL for you, and I want you to tell me, out of these 6, there's plenty of honorable mentions, has been the most disappointing this year.
Let's go.
Number 1, this hurts me to do this, Justin Tucker of the Ravens.
Okay.
Number 2, Trevor Lawrence. Number 3, recently benched Daniel Jones. Contract drama and not really playing up to what was expected of him out in the Bay, Brandon Ayuk. On the defensive side of the ball, Bryce Huff of the Eagles. And finally, after having such a great season last year, kind of taking a dip this year, tight end Sam Laporta.
Okay, I'm going to put Ayuk and T-Law toward the bottom of the list because they're dealing with injuries. Bringing Ayuk towards the ACL out of nowhere. It happens. And T-Law's got a bad shoulder and not much around him. So I'll keep them low.
Fair enough.
Justin Tucker, it's a kicker toward the end of his career. That stays low. Sam Laporta, again, has been banged up. And, they just have so many playmakers with Detroit that it's hard to, pick one consistently. I have to go Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
2 years ago, this dude looked like he was going to be the dude. Now he's taking fourth string reps. Fourth string reps.
So let's see, who's above him? Obviously, DeVito. Who's number 2?
Drew Lock.
Drew Lock.
I believe it's Tim Boyle.
Tim Boyle.
It's one of the other quarterbacks. I believe it's Tim Boyle. I might have the name wrong, but.
Yeah. Not what you expected, Giants fans, when he signed that massive contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Other ones, I only put Justin Tucker on there because he had been so consistent for so long, and now he does not have the most accurate kicking percentage, even though he's taken so many kicks that he held for a while. But like you said, end of his career, I really hope he can turn it around and the Ravens don't have to part ways halfway through the season. That would be devastating.
Yeah. So before we wrap this up, I need to rant about something that's near and dear to my heart.
Let's hear it.
You know what? Do you know what MACtion is? Like college football?
No.
Okay. So this is going to make my point even clearer then. MACtion was a concept started about 2013 when ESPN and the Mid-American Conference came up with the concept with a deal. It's a 13-year deal. X amount, hundreds of millions of dollars for the streaming, for the rights to broadcast the games. But when the Mid-American Conference, instead of playing your traditional Saturday games, they play on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So technically, they have the ESPN slots wide open. We're about 11 years into this, and I'm just going to say right now, I can't see the words I want to use because we're a family-friendly show. It's just been a disaster from so many levels. And I'll take this game to example. Noah, picture this. It's about 2008. Georgia's playing Florida. Mm-hmm. You remember those teams, right?
I remember.
How good you had guys like, I believe Geno Atkins was there. You had Matthew Stafford, Sean Moreno, so many good guys. Then Florida had Tim Tebow, so many other good players too. It's a big game. It's a big rivalry game for you guys, right?
Yeah.
Now imagine that played in the half-filled stadium on a Tuesday night at 8 o'clock.
Oh my God. Georgia fans and Florida fans would be livid.
This is what's going on with Central Michigan and Western Michigan right now. This rivalry, one of the best. It's the best in that conference. Second biggest in the state because Michigan State, Big Brother, Little Brother, whatever. For the past 10 years, this game has been relegated to a Tuesday night.
That's crazy.
I couldn't even watch it last night because I was at work, and I'm an alum. Like, I proudly keep a CMU quarterback hand towel on my bag. Because half of these automatic hand dryers at these gyms and these facilities don't work. But B, it looks cool too. I remember 2019 as a student. Me and my best friends made a trip down from Mount Pleasant to Kalamazoo because I grew up 25 minutes away from that school in Kalamazoo. I remember going to that tailgate at like 9:30 a.m. that Saturday morning, and we got booed. We got called despicable things. It was awesome. We just pounded libation after libation to get rid of the pain. Go to the game, sold out Wallow Stadium. Then that place gets humming, it's humming. But when it rains, the stadium actually floods. Bad layout design. Fun fact, it actually does. But then 2 years ago, they're covering it, and it's a Tuesday night. That energy was not the same. Sure, the students showed up, but they wound up leaving with 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter because Central opened up a can of whooping on them, which was so fun to watch. I keep one photo from that game. Actually, two really held in my apartment. But when you talk about these rivalry games that are getting muddled in this, like, it seems cool on the surface. I'm sure some people get a chance to watch the Mid-American Conference that don't. But people like you down south, they don't even know what MACtion is.
Nope.
So you try to expand nationally, and it's not working.
Yeah, I this is literally the first I've heard the term.
Yeah, first
I follow sports.
Exactly. So please, enough with this midweek MACtion stuff. It's driving me crazy. As a student, I hated it too, because I had to choose. Gosh, do I leave my class early and try to get to a game I go to for free, which some high schools around here charge for games of students? Separate issue. I will get to you eventually. Or do I have to stick around class and miss a game and get a chance to be a student? Be a chance to have fun. There's no classes on Saturdays, man. No Saturday classes. Mm-hmm. Saturday's just a day for football for kids to let loose and have fun. The kids that pay tens, even hundreds of thousands of dollars to be there, that's through one shot of the week to have fun and let loose. And you move in those games, the coolest stretch of the year. on Tuesday night and Wednesday night.
Like I said, I'm not familiar with it, but shame on you.
I'm done with it. Once this deal ends with Espen, just go back to Saturdays.
Yeah.
This MACtion stuff, it was cool at first. It's not working.
Yeah, the novelty's worn off, huh?
It's killed this rivalry. It honestly has. Like, there were, like, a couple years ago, they thought there was a rumor going around, like, you know, what CMU and WMU, would that game get moved to Fort Field? And I'm like, absolutely
That's
not.
cool.
Absolutely not. You keep those games on the campuses. Sure, the alumni might like it, but the alumni have had 4 to 6 years of those memories at Kelly Shorts and at Wallow Stadium. Now it's these current kids' chance to do it.
True. And
when you're talking about a 7-letter word that starts with A and ends with L gets involved in this, and you got 2-hour drives for both schools, it's best to keep them at their campuses, right?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. End rant. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk on MACtion and the disappointment spin. So, this wraps up this episode of Press Breakers. Thanks again for listening. If you're listening on YouTube, 85% of you aren't subscribed.
Come on, guys.
Well, if you subscribe, you'll be the first to know when new episodes drop, when new content drops, because you never know. We never know what's going to happen here at Press Breakers. Last month, we randomly got a conversation with Tom Izzo. We get stuff like that happening, folks. Like, share, subscribe, share with your neighbor, do whatever you have to do, man. Help us get this show. Keep it running, man. Let's keep it going.
We love doing it. We love talking sports, so help us keep it.
And most importantly, we love bringing a new way to consume information to you. But until we talk again, for producer Noah, I am the big dog, Mitch Vosburg. Thanks for stopping by. And as always, keep your stick in the ice.